right, here we go. This ain't gonna like, share, subscribe. This part 2. Like, share, subscribe. Hit the like button. This part 2. Paris is burning on fire. The unions got together on one accord, shut it down. They protested. Antifa out there, funded by George Soros, creating all kind of chaos. And this is for entertainment and educational purposes only. YouTube. This is not my opinion. Not signing violence, just showing what's going on around the world. Let's hit it. Yep, they listen, they ain't playing over there. We got 2 million people out here protesting. This Paris right now.
The French Revolution haunt President Emmanuel Macron as 1 million protesters shake the nation's core.
A million.
The French police have made hundreds of arrests after fresh protests exploded across the country. According to broadcaster BFM TV, 309 people were arrested. Out of them, 134 were placed in custody. The protests were over pension reform and falling purchasing power. They were part of a strike action launched on September 18th at the...
And the fact that they raised retirement age to 64, from 62 to 64. They said, hell no, we up to 70 in America and we ain't said nothing. But okay. I'm just saying, I'm not advocating violence.
Authorities said more than 500,000 people joined demonstrations nationwide. But the trade union CGT claimed the number was much higher, over 1 million. Interior Minister Bruno Retailleau said he welcomed the fact that France was not blocked by the protests, but he also warned that around 7,300 radicalized individuals were present in the rallies. The Interior Ministry explained that arrests were linked mainly to violence, property damage, and unauthorized marches. Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu strongly condemned what he called abuses targeting police and the damage caused during the unrest. The ministry confirmed that 7 police officers, 10 protesters, and 1 journalist were injured in the rallies. Unions, however, called the mobilization a success. They are expected to meet Prime Minister Lecornu in the coming days for talks. Lecornu emphasized...
Now see, they meeting for talks.
That the demands raised by unions and protesters remain at the heart of ongoing consultations. Action on September 18 follows last week's Lock Everything mobilization. That earlier protest drew 197,000 people nationwide. The arrest came just 2 days after Prime Minister's confidence vote. His austerity-driven budget with pension freezes, cuts to public holidays, and welfare reductions triggered massive backlash. Bayrou resigned following the defeat. President Emmanuel Macron then appointed Sébastien Lecornu, his defense minister and close ally, as the new prime.
They have had 4 prime ministers in 4 years because the people had came out and got rid of them. This is the 5th one. Right now, it looked like he on his way out the door, and he was just appointed a couple of weeks ago.
This marks Macron's fifth prime minister in
Fifth-
under 2 years.
Fifth prime minister.
Opposition leaders slammed Macron's choice. Jean-Luc Mélenchon of France Unbowed called it a provocation. Far-right leader
You
Jordan
see at the
Bardella
World
said
Economic
Macron was
Forum,
ignoring voters by sticking with loyalists. Interior Minister Bruno Retailleau described the unrest as an attempt to create a climate of insurrection. The chaos links back to Macron's risky snap election in 2024. After the far-right national rally surged in European polls, Macron called a parliamentary vote. His centrist bloc lost ground to both far-right and far-left, leaving the assembly divided. Since then, governing has been near impossible. France's Fifth Republic, created in 1958 to end instability, was designed to empower presidents. But Macron disrupted that system in 2017, winning without support from traditional parties. Re-elected in 2022, he soon lost his majority. To pass laws, he repeatedly used Article 49.3, bypassing votes, fueling public anger. In the 2024 snap election, the left won most seats but lacked a majority. Macron refused to accept their nominee for prime minister, stalling coalition building. France, unlike Germany or Italy, has no tradition of coalitions. Instead, it has relied on presidential dominance for decades. Producer states and consumer-heavy states remain split on revenue. The political system is now deadlocked. 39 years old Sébastien Lecornu is Macron's longest-serving minister. His task is to steady the government and maybe strike compromises. The socialists want higher taxes on the rich and reversal of business tax cuts. The right opposes these demands.
I guess they
has
do.
barely managed compromise as a centrist. Lecornu, leaning further right, may find it even harder. Neither left nor right wants fresh snap elections that could boost Marine Le Pen's far right. That reluctance may buy Macron some time. Beyond politics, France's economy is under strain. Bond yields are rising higher than Spain, Portugal, and Greece. A possible downgrade of France's debt rating this week
Hit
could
that
mean
like
economic
button.
woes. Investors are already jittery, and uncertainty is mounting. France has one of the EU's largest budget deficits at 5.8% of GDP. Budget negotiations have been a major source of tension in French politics. The failure to reach an agreement on the 2025 budget last year also led to the collapse of the Michel Barnier government in December, after left-wing and far-right parties joined forces to support a no-confidence motion. Now, it remains to be seen. Will Prime Minister Lecornu's talks calm a nation of a million voices, or will the ghosts of revolutions past drag France into yet another political collapse? For more news and updates, watch Mint News.
We gotta watch France. Yeah, where my notes go? Yeah, we gotta watch France. They ain't playing. But the police ain't playing neither. Yeah, they ain't playing. They ain't for no games. Okay, I'm gonna delete this video. Here go the unions. They ain't playing. This one is the unions coming together.
Hospital workers. It's contempt for Paris public transport workers.
Wait, let me go back.
We organized a picket line at 5:30 this morning to denounce the government's contempt for workers, because in fact, workers are currently so despised by this government and by Mr. President Macron that, in fact, it can't continue like this. It's contempt for public services. It's contempt for hospital workers. It's contempt for Paris public transport workers, for French National Railway Company workers. As soon as you're a worker in France, in fact, you're despised.
Now this is the union workers. 500,000 union workers came out. They shut it down.
Yes, of course, I support them striking workers. I'm not on strike, but I support it.
You ain't never seen nothing like that.
English.
The 36 trillion.
French.
Le FMI, comme
I'm gonna have to keep these with the unions. So when I do the unions, I'm gonna have to keep them.
What we want is a change in policies. Mr. Lecornu told himself, well, for this budget to pass, I will remove the 2 holidays, removal of 2 public holidays in budget proposal. Because it's true that this measure...
They took away 2 of their holidays and they went nuts, okay? They went nuts.
was provocative. Well, the math isn't right. What we want is for this entire budget to be buried and the repeal of the pensions reform. We will not be blinded by cosmetic changes. What we want is to finally stop with these policies in the service of the wealthiest.
There is a tax injustice because, today, the people who have the greatest fortunes are taxed much less in proportion than the everyday people who go to work for these large companies. Precisely. We know that billionaires have seen their capital grow almost 14 times since 1996. We can clearly see that today. A few people are getting richer, but on the other hand, what we see at the same time is that, in France, the working class is getting poorer.
Facts. Okay, I'm gonna delete this video. I did that. I'm gonna delete that one. 5 million people protested. This in Lyons. This in Lyons, right outside of France. That's that. This is the other part of France. Let me get rid of that. I think I'm gonna get rid of this one. Yep, yep, yep. Let me see if this is the
Very
same.
good afternoon from Paris. It's about 3 p.m. local time and a hectic day here in the French capital today. Now, as you can possibly see behind me, people are out on the streets in hundreds of thousands. And what you're witnessing is an amalgamation of various unions coming together to unify in protest. You're seeing workers from the transport sector, from the education sector, also from the healthcare sector, who've all sort of come together, come out and are protesting. The reason behind these protests are the infamous budget cuts that have been proposed by the French government. The EU and Le Cornu has a gigantic task.
Okay, you can't really, but I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead. They paralyzed the French government.
Strikes and protests spread across France on Thursday, with unions mobilizing against President Emmanuel Macron's proposed spending cuts. Teachers, train drivers, healthcare staff, and pharmacists walked off their jobs while students blocked dozens of high schools, paralyzing parts of the country. Unions are demanding higher taxes on the wealthy, protection of public services, and a reversal of pension reforms that raise the retirement age. The CGT union claimed nearly 1 million people took part in demonstrations, though official figures put turnout at around half that. Emmanuel Macron, to escape this dynamic, told himself, well, let's change up the casting, let's switch prime ministers. But we are not stupid, we are not fools. What we want is a change of.
Okay, and I think we heard that one before. Okay, that's when I do my migrants. Let me just make sure, because we're gonna hit back to the slap Candace Owens being sued. Okay, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen,
This is Cherie Denise.
Let's get into a story that I almost didn't talk about because I'm kind of scared to talk about it for a number of reasons. But it's one that's been in the news a lot, and I just want to see if you guys are following this story and if you care about the story and if you believe this story, because I can tell you that there was a time in which you guys are following this story and that I thought was the most
a student at La Providence. After I listened
This
to
is
his interview,
allegedly
it really began
Candace
to make
Owens and
more
got
sense for
sued
me
by the
what so many of
Macrons.
the other characters and the things are that I had heard throughout all of those episodes. And I have to say, you guys, I think Brigitte is a biological male, and I feel like
Everybody thinks she a
pretty
male.
clear.
I don't know.
And you haven't watched
Allegedly.
the series. Let me just briefly tell you what the situation is, because it is very shocking. And if it was simply based on the origin story of Brigitte and Emmanuel's love, I would say, what the actual F are we doing with this man as the president of France? I mean, it's just so offensive. So this is the story, and I will give you all the highlights, because there are many a rabbit hole you could fall down, but I will give you the basics in case you have been interested in the story and you would like it told to you in a way that is much more condensed and easy to understand. The claim is that Brigitte was born a man, and that she had gotten into a relationship with Emmanuel when he was a student at La Providence, the school that he attended.
Right. He was 15. She was in her 30s, married, and apparently, allegedly had, 3 kids. So she is 24 years older. And I was wondering why she walked like an old man. I'm just allegedly.
She was apparently a drama instructor, and she had seen him in this play as a 14-year-old boy, and the 39-year-old woman was beside herself. Because what 39-year-old woman isn't beside herself by a 14-year-old boy? I mean, what? So that is the official story of their love. Now, actually, the official story was that he was 17, because that makes it so much better, and she was 36. That's the official story. But in reality, and all the newspapers are, even in the French newspapers, are now willing and able to say that actually he was 14 and she was 39. Even if that was the only thing that we had to question about this relationship, I feel like that.
Come on, StreamYard, you did good.
And you preyed upon this student of
Sure
yours when he
did.
was 14 years old. The boy just got out of diapers. Like, what are you talking about? 14 years old? Like, I just...
Wait a minute. Let me grab this call. Oh, shit. Let me see who this is.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial it.
Mm.
Can't even conceive of a 39-year-old woman interested, even find a 15-year-old boy really interesting to have a 20-minute conversation with them. The newspapers really wanted you to believe that he was this precocious, almost Mozart-esque sort of child, that he was beyond his years, and that this teacher just could not take her eyes off of him and his magnificent performances, and that he was just the belle of her, and that when it came to his acting, she just, it melted her heart and her soul. She just couldn't. So they had to get together because.
So she molested him allegedly.
Quite frankly, he seduced her. That's the other thing. He seduced her. Something else that the papers really wanted you to believe was that Brigitte was hot stuff. I mean, when it came to a teacher that everyone was just like heart palpitating over, it was Brigitte.
Not really.
She was supposedly this really hot teacher, and the newspapers reported that she would wear these little short skirts, and that all the boys were swooning, and all the girls looked at her as, this role model, this sexy role model, and that she was not only a great teacher, but also quite a looker, so who didn't want her in the room? Yet, when we see pictures of Brigitte as a teacher at La Providence, I think some of us have a different description of what is
right,
not hot.
Exactly.
She doesn't necessarily fall under all of our categories as smoking. But that's neither here nor there. The The real problem is that trying to find out anything about Brigitte before she became this teacher is next to impossible. And nobody can figure out who she was, where she was, or what her background was because there's no pictures provided. Now, Brigitte and Emmanuel had become involved with this person named Mimi Marchand. I believe that's her name. And Mimi is known as quite the fixer. Now, she is embroiled in a lot of scandal herself. Fraud, there's all sorts of lies and innuendos, and she is a super problematic person, but she was a fixer of sorts. And they had been involved with her, and any pictures that we have been given of Brigitte as a teacher, and really those are the only ones we have of her past, these pictures were provided to us through Mimi's organization called Best Image. And it's really just problematic because it's weird that there's not any other pictures unless provided through that agency. But that's all that we have. And they all show her as a teacher. Again, there's nothing from her childhood. There's nothing from her as a young adolescent. There's nothing at all of her and her young children. We never see any pictures of her pregnant. There's nothing to show she had a life before being that teacher and then being bowled over by a young Emmanuel. So that's weird. It's weird that there's no pictures. But the weirdness continues. Because apparently, before she was bowled over by young Emmanuel, she was married, a woman with 3 children and a husband. We have a picture of her at her supposed wedding, but the woman in the picture looks nothing like her. In fact, it looks much more like one of her daughters. And so then there's the question of, well, is this one of her daughters? And the conclusion has come that it is. It is a picture of her daughter's wedding. It's not a picture of Brigitte's wedding. Well, where is Brigitte? Where are her real wedding photos? The weirdness of her previous marriage continues because her husband, her ex-husband, the one that she left when she fell in love with a 14-year-old boy, died. Like, no one ever heard hide nor hair of him again. And also the 3 children who are officially children of her loins don't really have anything to say about her, except for one of the children. And one of the children is very supportive of this narrative. The other 2 have nothing to say and you can't contact them. But one of the children does have words to speak. And she claims that her father died. And that's, recently, once people started questioning where was he, then suddenly he had died. And his burial was very strange. Well, actually, it wasn't a burial, even though his daughter said it was. He was actually cremated and his ashes scattered. But this daughter, once contacted, is like, oh, yeah, my dad's dead. And actually, we had the funeral like a year ago. We buried him. It was small, private. And so this former ex-husband of Brigitte's just suddenly is dead. And this funeral that they had for him was a suspicious affair in which the government was involved in the putting on of this small funeral, which 12 people attended. The program for the funeral was also strange.
She got with a man in a his wife suit. Got with him when he was 15 and she was 39 and divorced her first husband and everything. And
it seems to be the only picture
this the French president
available of this gentleman. There aren't any other pictures. It seems that his entire history, his entire life has been destroyed from public record.
It has.
That he supposedly worked at, he didn't really work at. And so there's just so many questions about, like, why is this original family that she was involved with? Why are there no records of these people? Where are the pictures? Why won't the other 2 kids speak about their mom, who is now sitting as the first lady? And why are the words of the one daughter who will speak so off? Like, oh yeah, my dad's dead. We buried him. I went to his funeral, but you didn't bury him because he was cremated. I mean, and she got the date of the funeral wrong. I mean, it was just like, she didn't really seem to know when it had happened or what even happened at the event, though supposedly she was there. So there's lots of questions.
They probably sacrificed
she wasn't really married.
I'm just speculating.
If she truly was born as a biological male,
because they definitely
she could not have had these children. Then what was she doing? And what exactly? Who is this person? Where did she come from?
Right.
Emmanuel wrote a book about his life in which he talked nothing of his own family, but gave us quite a story on his wife Brigitte's family. Her family is from the town of Amiens, and Trogneau is a name of her original family. And a picture has been provided for us of her when she was a little kid. And here's the whole family. And she's supposedly the little girl sitting on the lap of the mother. Except for the fact
But where her brother?
there looks way more like the adult Brigitte. Now speculation is that little Jean-Michel over here, who has never been explained to the public. Everybody else in the picture, people know who that is. Jean-Michel, suddenly we don't get any information about him. He's just this rando in the corner that nobody has
Her
ever
brother,
explained
and
to us
ain't
what it
nobody
means
ever
that-
seen him. So they speculating that the brother is now transitioned to Brigitte. The brother ain't been found. That's where all this coming from.
that has not been answered is if he did indeed grow up and decide to take on a female identity and use the name of his little sister, what happened to the little sister?
Right.
That has never been clarified to me, and that
Right.
nothing in the reporting has made that clear. So that's one of the things that just makes me go, okay, but that little girl is somewhere, right? So how do you just take the name of your sister and then that's, nobody bats an eye at that. Nobody can trace where the little sister went. So I'm confused about that. But it does seem fairly obvious that this person grew up, sort of disappeared. Supposedly, he did indeed get married before he transitioned to a woman, obviously. She had 2 children. And there is all kinds of wild speculation, and this is where I really do not get into it. Wild speculation that one of those children is actually Emmanuel Macron. And
Oh, I'm done. So they actually related, allegedly. But I wouldn't doubt it because that's how they get, that's how they keep the bloodlines pure. They keep everything in the family. That's how the Illuminati get down. And they are Satanists. I just can't find that video. They removed that video when they sat in front of CERN at that ceremony. Damn, I'm fucked up in the mind now. Wow. Wow.
they do look very similar, but at the same time, it's a bit of a bridge too far
This is Cherie
to
Denise.
imagine
I'm
that this
about to.
person who groomed this young child from school was actually grooming his own kid. Like, I just don't see that. Emmanuel Macron had parents officially, though there aren't any pictures of him with them as a child, which seems to be the way. I'm like, do you guys take pictures of parents? I don't understand. But there's no pictures of Emmanuel with his actual parents, one who was a doctor and the other who worked at getting new identities made and new identifications made through the Social Security Office of the French government for people who were changing their identity due to being a trans individual. So, I mean, you start putting pieces together and it definitely looks incriminating and suspicious. That woman, Mimi, who put out any and all pictures that we have of Brigitte, who was their fixer at one point, had a falling out with Emmanuel and Brigitte because of some things that she was involved in. So as they tried to distance themselves from her, she became vindictive and she put out some information that when Brigitte was seen walking out of the American hospital in Paris, this blind item was put forth stating that she had gone to see this one doctor, and a quote was given that doctor, that's kind of like his quote, it's what he's known for. And that quote led people to know and to realize that she had been to see a doctor who specializes in feminizing surgery for transitioning patients so that they can get a more female face. And, so there's like all these little tidbits. Brigitte did not appreciate that information had come out. And while she has been open about some, different work done before, I mean, she looks pretty good for her age. So I think we can all assume she's been having work. So while she has not been private about other work she's done, she was very offended at this insinuation that she'd gone to see this specific doctor who is known for helping people in their transition. So it just feels like there's a lot of questions, and I think that because Candace was working with a researcher who's been combing the archives and who is I would say, quite reputable and has been working with various journalists.
We're going to give
who are
Nicanda
so
notes
reputable in
because
France.
Brigitte
Ones who work for
and
the
Macron is
papers that
suing
amount
her.
to,
She better
say,
be
their
careful
Wall Street Journal and their New
because
York
she
Times,
might be the next,
people who
you
have
know,
zero
what happened to
desire to
poor
expose
Charlie
a
could
woman
happen
who they
to
thought,
her, for real.
you know, is, you know, this triumphant individual, this real feminist. They have already gotten on the bandwagon as well, saying, why are there so many secrets surrounding Brigitte? Why can't you get any information? Why is everyone shut down? Why are people losing livelihoods? Why is it so hard for simple answers to be given to simple questions? Are you this person in this picture? Who is this child? If nothing else, what we know is that this woman, Brigitte, had an unbelievably inappropriate affair with a child. And now they sit in what amounts to the White House in France. And it's disgusting. And if that was all we knew, I'm surprised the French people aren't more up in arms about it. Certainly it is weird the way the press tried to spin it as some love story, and that, you know, Philly D, what's age? Well, it's kind of important. One of the people is a kid, 14-year-old child. So if that's all we knew, the story would be crazy. But there's so many questions, and you know, you'd have to go back and watch the entire series to really glean all of the minutia. But there's so many questions as to where Brigitte came from. Why are they so cagey? Why are there no pictures of her being pregnant? Why are there no pictures of her as a child?
Like Michelle Obama.
So
Joan Rivers said it.
One being married and the other as a communicant when she's going to take her first communion. That picture proved to be a picture of one of her children. The same with the picture of her wedding day, not her, one of her children from a previous relationship. And so it's just like all of these people who are supposed to be her, just it's not. And then the other thing that is, and this is my final piece of this, lots of reporting has been done about this over the last couple of years. Nobody has been sued for defamation on the facts. There's been one case in which Brigitte, won this defamation case, but all it was her nitpicking some detail in the story that was incorrect, like something as small as, I know they tried to go after Candace because she said a certain picture was colorized when it wasn't. And so, they are alleging that it's all lies that she's telling. Well, she was mistaken about that element, and she admits that she was mistaken about that element, but the facts of the story, they're never going over after the facts of the story. And these are so crazy and so bizarre that if
it's so much, but I don't know, Candace. You better be careful. That's all That's all I got to say, Candace. You better be careful. Damn, now where did I get that? Okay, we're gonna delete this. All right, I don't need to show that. Okay, we got that gone. How come it's not coming up? Okay, where am I? Why this ain't coming up? I want to show them. Oh, they took that video down. No, they didn't. Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. This Candace Owens.
Because this is just goofy. You are officially a very goofy man, Brigitte. But I gotta give you
right, Hippo. It wasn't me though. I need to put Candace Owens' name up in here. I know. Hey, I want to get to
floored. Are you floored? Because this is just goofy. You are officially a very goofy man, Brigitte. But I gotta give it to you. You definitely got fire everybody around you, and I mean literally everyone around you who told you that this was a good idea, that this was a very good idea for you to be the first sitting first lady of a country to file a lawsuit against a journalist of another country.
Sure did, Candace. Be careful.
Actual malice, knowledge and falsity, reckless disregard for the truth. In his lengthy complaint, he
Oh, I know he's a puppet. He's part of the Illuminati. Yes, he is a puppet. Absolutely.
But I think
He's part of the Illuminati. He definitely a Satanist. I can't find that video where he sat through the ceremony at CERN there when they birthed the Antichrist, the son of perdition. Oh yeah, he definitely is a puppet. But that lady, Bridget, I was shocked. Just learned that she she got with him when he was 15. She was 39. He, she, whatever, allegedly. I don't know.
giving enough deference to the fact that courts in the United States grant broad discretion to individuals to comment on public officials. I think that Mr. Clare's complaint that he's prepared on behalf of Macron spends a lot of time talking about the motivation of this podcaster, talks about monetizing this narrative, making a profit off of it, and trying to suggest that that was a huge inducement to continue to pursue a story even after she had been told that it wasn't true. This is a tricky claim to make because there are many court rulings that have said that just because a publisher is in a commercial business, a for-profit business, doesn't mean that what they're doing is suspect.
Like, share, subscribe, y'all.
Capitalist society, we're in the media business to make money for the most part. And if that were the basis for claiming actual malice, then everybody would be out of business. And they've made a lot of claims about damages in terms of the ability to engage in future business dealings and so forth.
That's a
But I
lie.
would say that is probably somewhat speculative.
Right.
So in the knowledge that it was not true.
Okay, I'm about to get into, let me delete this. We're about to get in what Candace Owens actually said. It's a 22 million lawsuit against Candace. Y'all can't hear this. Dang, y'all need to hear this. Hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get it from this other phone. I gotta go to my other phone, y'all. Wait, let me see. This one note. Look at how she walked.
While Macron stands very standardly, 3 details make people doubt her female identity. At a recent event, the stance of Macron's wife once again sparked heated discussions. Many people thought Brigitte's bold stance was very unrefined because the wives of other presidents usually attend events very elegantly. For instance, Melania always stands beside Trump with her legs clasped together. Therefore, some people suspect that Brigitte might not be a woman. First of all, her walking posture is very bold and unrestrained, and she often steps so fast that even Macron can't keep up, and her feet.
Well, the truth of the matter, now that I know she's 24 years older than him, she in her 70s, he in his 50s.
Feet are as big as a boat, and don't look
Her
like
feet
a woman's
big
feet
as
at
a
all.
boat.
Even some people have noticed that her hair seems to be a wig because she always has the same hairstyle when facing others. At the latest event, Brigitte wanted to talk to the little girl beside her, but the girl immediately stepped back half a step and dared not look her in the eye. Perhaps I was frightened by her voice. It is said that she often wears high-necked clothes to. Why is Brigitte Macron's posture ugly while Macron stands very standardly? 3 details make people doubt her female identity. At a recent.
I'm just saying. They show mad at Candace Owens. And people been saying this about About her. Let me delete this video. We don't need that one. Emmanuel Macron says he's suing Candace Owens. But it makes sense because she old as Methuselah. Let me delete that because I thought it was okay. Let me delete that. Come on, Candace. This is the
I
one.
did an extensive analysis of Brigitte Macron's pictures, those that allegedly show her in her 30s and the most current ones. I compared them to the pictures of young Jean-Michel Trogne, who Macron's claimed to be her brother. And we had some very compelling
But where's her brother?
Check those episodes via the link in the description of this video. It is quite overwhelming how much Brigitte looks like young Jean-Michel Trogne. And then I thought, I need to be fair. Even though we are all convinced that this little boy is the same person as France's first lady, I never compared the little boy's pictures to this guy. So allegedly, this is Jean-Michel Trogne today. Macron's claim he is well and alive and lives a quiet life.
But ain't nobody seen him. He ain't been seen since she became a woman. He ain't been seen. I'm just saying allegedly. I don't know.
The old man or the other old man. And to make it completely fair, once again, I will be asking ChatGPT to give me some answers again, just like last time. Obviously, ChatGPT is not the most reliable tool out there for this type of analysis. I know, but it's fun. We can use our eyes and
Let me go past some of this.
It's not a sharp picture, so it's hard to tell, but maybe. Okay, maybe. It all sounds completely crazy. I do not claim it's true. It is one of these theories floating on the internet. However, it is interesting to collect those theories and evidence that people dig up and lay it down in front of you guys and hear what you think. Because it is super compelling in some cases. So once again, here is the close-up of Jean-Michel from the family picture. If we put this one and the adult picture together, I can see the resemblance in the eyes, right ear, also the dimple on the left side when I'm looking, and how you're seeing it, it's on your left. But we know that Jean-Michel didn't have perfect straight teeth. We know it from different pictures. So this picture maybe is not the best one to compare to adult Trogne. And I mean him and Brigitte. I know in the past I did an in-depth comparison and found similarities to Brigitte, but as we all, because they were very protruding in his childhood photo, something, it doesn't look right to me. Maybe I've been staring at it a bit too long.
Let me show you that picture.
Is it not him? Could it be him? I wanted to compare another set of pictures because there is similar facial expression with one of the young pictures from 1952, I think, from his school years. So to be fair, I placed these pictures together. It's a similar facial expression. And now I don't know. It kind of looked that they could be related. But
I'm saying no, they ain't the same.
That's a different ear. That's completely. Oh my God, guys! I'll give you my theory in a minute because I also want to compare. I want to be fair. I'm comparing all the pictures. Like I said, we have some baby pictures, we have some old people pictures, and I want to be fair. So this is a picture submitted by Macron's in the lawsuit. This is allegedly little Brigitte Trogne. Okay, let's see what ChatGPT says. It says 75%. All the Brigitte pictures, comparison pictures are 75%. But when I compare all the Brigitte in her 30s and the little Brigitte, this is not the same person to me. I see that the little girl could possibly have an underbite. Okay, so it is when the jaw protrudes forward.
I don't know.
It creates this characteristic smile down from Macron's.
I'm just saying. That little boy don't look nothing like. Oh, I want to keep this for the union. Okay, I can get rid of this one. I found it.
thing that everyone can agree on is that Macron is very careful about his image. No detail is left to chance. Lots of Photoshop was used in this photo.
Genuinely, it's been picked apart and analyzed like you would not believe. Her hands forcefully smushing his face. He seems stunned.
He married his former high school teacher, 24 years his senior. She has 7 grandchildren and has been present in his political career.
We've got another book over here, which is by Madame de Stael. People have been reading into that as well. We won't go into all of that.
Yeah, let's talk
You
about
also
modern, traditional. I like it. Okay, a lot of
all of the
It's like
contrasts.
an old painting, isn't it? It's kind of
Jupiterian style of president.
It's gonna be a part 3, but it's gonna be later.
Budgets and states.
And chose an interesting book to include in the
This
background.
is BJ
A book
Investigates.
by
I
an
like her.
author known as Andre Gide, a self-admitted pedophile. Okay.
I told you.
Now, a pedophile, if you are not familiar with that term,
I
according to
told you.
Merriam-Webster, is a man who engages in sexual activity with a young boy. Okay.
So there's some details got into here, but essentially this is somebody untoward who in a civilized society such as the United States of America would be considered like criminal types of behaviors were acted upon. I will allow Candace, to explain a little bit of it, but if you want to see the full allegations, I do invite you to go watch this full video on Candace's channel, Candace Owens, and it is called Becoming Brigitte. This is the introduction. It says an introduction around the 16-17 minutes.
If you're wondering how does that differ from pedophiles, the answer is that pedophiles are adult men specifically who are into only little boys specifically. So it doesn't include girls. So Andre Gide was a self-admitted pedophile into little boys.
All right, let's pause. Let's take a pause, okay? Collective pause. I think we can all agree that whoever that guy is, it's a no from me. If not, you found yourself on the wrong channel. Get out of here. That's just nasty. I'm a self-admitted, I'm into this and acting upon it. Y'all, it gets worse. I don't know how much details we're going to keep in or not, but it's pretty bad.
Which book did Emmanuel Macron select for his portrait? A book from Andre Gide entitled The Fruits of the Earth in English, okay? In French, it's Les Nourritures Terrestres. Forgive my terrible pronunciation there.
Oh, girl, how do you say that? I thought fruits of the earth. I thought Earth was Le Mans. Oh, that's world. Earth and world.
To Algeria, and which obviously is autobiographical in content. He admitted that he did this, traveling to Algeria, and it is about having sex with Muslim little boys. That's what the book was about. Okay. Now, in case you're thinking rationally, let's play both sides of this thing, right? Maybe Emmanuel Macron didn't know that the book was there. Maybe it was just some dumb assistant who grabbed it. Who knows why it would be in their
He is
office.
Satanist.
But maybe it was just some assistant who grabbed it and put it there.
Part of Illuminati.
I didn't know.
Macron is.
You'd be wrong if you're thinking that, so stop thinking that, okay? Emmanuel Macron has never
Allegedly.
hidden his affection for Andre Gide. He has spoken about it multiple times, okay? He even once gave an interview to a literary critic, Jerome Garson, and Macron said this. He said, and I quote, Gide shows me the path that leads from the cerebral to overflowing sensuality. Okay?
Oh, there's a video of him doing something. There's a video of him setting up the scene. Alert, alert, alert. That surprise witness, BJ Investigates Headquarters Mothership Studios LLC team has found a clip. When is this from? Hold on. He's setting the scene. He's setting the scene. Oh, I love the little golden tea set. Oh my God, girl. Was he with that tea set on the train the other day whenever he was sniffing and snotting? Okay, what did he set there? His phone? He's flipping it open to the right page. Okay. All right. It's also showing, yes, I was right. A lot of thought goes into this. It's not an accident. And it reminds me of the Balenciaga. You don't get an accidental lawsuit printed out, buddy. No, somebody put it right there. Exhibit, A from another case. I don't know. I certainly wasn't there on that depraved set. From Gall to Gide, the reference to this aspect of political memory is only one of the facets of French cultural unconscious Macron summons here. His communication team was quick to let everyone know that the open book was de Gaulle's war memoirs. Ew. Oh, while the two others were Stendhal's The Red and the Black and Gide's Fruits of the Earth. The Red and the Black. Okay, and Fruits of the Earth. Oh my God, I missed this part. At one point, he was so engrossed in reading that the photographers had to beg to get his attention back. This is nasty. Oh, it is his official portrait. There's a tweet, portrait officiel. Okay, but what really mattered was the immediate questions this would prompt. Was he referring to the famously enigmatic opening lines of war memoirs? All my life, I've had a certain idea of France. But then, what idea of France exactly? And when was this article from? What article did we just stumble upon? All my life I've had a certain idea of France. But then what idea of France exactly? And what exactly was being alluded to? In this choice of the red and the black, a story of social mobility and a love affair between an ambitious young man and an older married woman? And Candace Owens did not write this. 2017. Kind of makes him look good. Yeah, wow, yuck. And, it makes me feel sick. And could the reference to Gide have had something to do with the author's ode to youth and energy? This is why literature gets fetishized in this way. What? What is why? You skip the part where's the this? This, I learned in English class, has to refer to something. They have to try to figure out what he means, what network of symbols he's reactivating. And for what purpose? His appearances at Versailles and the Louvre showed that the symbols, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but that's my houses. They just keeping them clean for me over there. His appearances at Versailles and the Louvre showed that the symbols are so numerous and varied that they might be little less than an invitation to frantically interpret an ever-elusive presidential psyche. Well, people went ahead and said, bet, I'm going to do just that. And they did that. You gave them an idea, buddy. This is politically astute. What? A political astupid, maybe, a stupido. As the amount of time given the pederast.
So the question is, so we show on the first video in the beginning of this, Paris on fire. He appointed 4, they on their 5th prime minister because the people rise up and protest. He had to get rid of them. Then we know, let me delete this video. It's going to have to be a part 3, but it won't be today. Then we know, then the slap that went around the world when Brigitte slapped her. What I found out is that she's been messing with Macron since he was 15. She's 24 years older than he is. What happened to her brother? Because that's not her brother. Did she become the brother and now she's the female? I don't know. But she sued Candace Owens Candace Owens did a deep dive and says that she is a man. Brigitte is a man. I don't know, allegedly. And we know she do beat him up because we've seen that video. So I don't know. It's going to be a part 3. You make up your own mind. I have no idea, but I'm coming right back. I got to do 2 more videos. Yep. I'm about to do TD Jakes, I guess. And then I'm going to get back into our book series. These will be some quick videos. I pray to God they are. But this one going to be a part 3. I don't know when I'm going to come back and do part 3 because it's more to it. But I don't like to stay over an hour. So like, share, subscribe. Hit the like button, please. Thank you. Be right back.